welcome back to Beanie's Hobbies, and in this video we are going to be doing an unboxing and assembly of the new Creality CR6-Max, which is this beast right here. So first things first, obviously we need to get it unboxed and get all the parts out. Okay, so in the top of the box we have user manual, caution sheet, tells you to modify the start G code, small roll of filament, baggie with our hardware in, power supply, touchscreen, spool holder, filament holder, and we have the support rods, top part of the frame with the hot end, as you can see, it's tethered as well, and obviously the base of the printer so we have a build plate here of 400 by 400. This thing is extremely heavy, and that's everything that's in the box. So next job now is to get everything back up on the workbench so we can have take a proper look at all the parts. Alright guys, we've got all the parts up on the workbench. Now, gonna say that this printer is not gonna fit on my workbench. I've got the CR10-Max running in the background. That thing is huge. And I thought, well, this is going to be a bit smaller than that, so that'll fit. Turns out that this thing is also huge and it's not going to fit. So this could be interesting. Got to find a new home for it. Anyway, I will start by saying that this thing does look incredibly well built. I mean, exactly the same as a CR6 SE. The only thing you'll notice is obviously on the bed we have two rails instead of the one rail. So obviously a lot bigger. We do still have the toolbox, because I was like, where's the SD card? They've done me, they haven't sent me the SD card. They have, it's just in the toolbox. Now we do have obviously the guide rods as well, exactly the same as CR10-Max. I'm getting myself confused with so many printers. So what we're going to have to do first things first is install the top part of the frame, install the guide rods, put the screen on, make a few wiring connections, and that is going to be it. It's quite simple, quite straightforward to assemble this machine. It's just going to be finding space for it, which is going to be the issue, because like I say, it's not going to fit on a standard size worktop. But I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. I have got a bit more room. I'm just going to have to jiggery pokery move some stuff around. So first things first, we're going to get the gantry installed to the bottom half of the frame, and then we'll go from there. Right guys, so installing this top gantry, you can see here where the part's been skimmed out, so that will literally just sit into those grooves like so, and that is fixed from underneath using these black bolts, which are M5 by 45. I've actually done away with the stickers now, and we've actually got, well, you can't really see, but it's printed on the bags. So we've got two on each side. So like I say, what I normally do, very carefully just bring the edge of the machine so it hangs over the edge of my work table. Then we'll go up through underneath. Right, then we need to turn the machine around and do the other side. So it's now done up tight. Okay, so the next job we're going to have to install the guide rods, but first things first, we actually need to assemble them. So we will need the connecting rods to start off with, one of those, and obviously that is just going to go into the end. Let's do that up. Another rod. I just like to hold it with my finger so to make sure it threads in. So I've done up tight. And then you're going to need to get the next lot of hardware. You can put your nut on first. And that's then going to screw in the end, and you're going to need to repeat this for the other end as well. So I'll go away and get these assembled, and then we'll come back and install them on the printer. Okay guys, so now we need to install the rods. So at the top we're going to be using M5x12. And at the bottom we're going to be using M5x20. So you are going to need to probably adjust, just unscrew these out slightly just to adjust them to get them to the right length. So at the moment it's a bit too short. Obviously once you're happy that it's in the right spot, get your spanner and just nip the nuts off. And nip your nuts off. That'll then hold it in place, like so. Then obviously you have to spin the machine around, repeat the process on the other side. That'll then obviously make this gantry nice and stable. Right guys, so next job we need to attach the touch screen. Now the cable for that is located here. They're all stuck down with this black tape. So we can just remove the tape, which will then expose the cable. That will then plug into the back of the screen. Now obviously make sure that you plug it in the right way around, like so. And then you're going to need to get your last two fixing things with screws, which are M5x10s. And then the screen is just going to fix onto the end, like so. One. Ooh, lovely. Right, okay, so we've got gantry installed, we've got pull rods installed, we have screen installed. Next job now, we have to wire all the connections, make all the wiring connections. We shall do that next. Attach the spool holder and then this machine is assembled. So guys, bear with me. Next job now is I'll show you where we have to make all the connections. Right guys, so connection wise we've got 2-stepper motors, and then we've got our optical end stop switch to wire in first. So the wires are all, let's say, taped with this black tape. It's quite straightforward. One, the other one is located over the other side. Two, and then our optical end stop switch wire is also taped underneath the bed, which is helpful. It's located under here, so we'll pull the tape off. And that then just plugs in. Will only go in one way round, like so. So that is all those connections made. Now what we need to do next is spin the printer around so we can make the final 2 connections, obviously down to the hot end, and then we are finished assembly. Alright guys, so the last 2 connections we have up here to our hot end, like so, and then we have actually already give us these little twist ties so we can then attach this cable to our Bowden tube. So, I mean really I'll probably actually replace these and just use some zip ties, because I always find these things slip and move around all over the place. And that is the last of our connections made. Make sure nothing's going to snag up. Alright guys, on a quick side note, I just want to mention to you, show you these instructions. Now it shows you here the cable coming up, then around and into the hot end. Do not put the cable, how they've got it here, around the back of this supporting rod. It needs to go underside, it needs to go under it, not over it. So if you follow this, how it shows you here, putting over it, you're going to have a bad day. So yeah, do not follow these instructions. Make sure the cable comes up, plugs in, and then this cable routes behind this guide rod, not over top of it. So it needs to go behind the back of it. Just need to check to make sure all our eccentric nuts. This one on this side is completely loose and spinning around. So we just need to slightly adjust it. You don't need these things massively tight. And that is it. That is finally assembled. Belt tensioner wise, you see this is exactly like the CR6-SE. We have these knobs on the end here so we can actually tension the belts. Belts are all nicely tensioned. So what I want to do now is I'm going to have to clear a space for this somewhere, because like I say it can't fit where it is at the moment, and then we can fire it up, go through the menu and make sure everything's working correctly, and then there'll be a follow-up video where we do some test prints and go over it to see how things have come out. Okay guys, so found the printer a new home over here next to my part builds. As you can see, we've got Ecto 1 and the Terminator. So she's assembled, plugged in, yet to power it on, so we'll power it on, make sure she fires up okay. So that will be the next job. Take a quick look through the settings, and then that'll be it for this video, and I'll follow it up with some test prints in a later on video. Okay, so the power switch is located here on the side. Okay, and she is up and running. So this is exactly the same as the CR6 SE if you guys have got the CR6 SE. Same settings, same everything. Do have a nice bright blue LED. So what we'll do now is we'll go through the levelling process. So the printer is going to heat itself up to 120. I don't know if you guys can see this screen, the crazy amount of points of level that this is going to take. So once this is heated up and starts levelling, we will then come back. Okay, so it heated up to 120 in absolutely no time at all whatsoever. Obviously I'm recording this in real time. See the blazing speed. So I think I mentioned before we have a build area of 400 by 400 by 400. So it is a massive build area. You can see as it's probing the bed. There's no levelling nuts or anything at all on the bed on this printer. So it's exactly the same as the CR6 SE. We have dual Z. I say the Z's are tethered together, so we should have no problems with this thing coming out of alignment. And the levelling process is going to take some time, obviously. But as you can see, the auto levelling is working. And else we aren't going to know for sure until we can actually start a print. But like I say, that is going to come up in a following video. But for now, the machine is up and running as it should. Printer is working absolutely fine. Can't see any issues with build quality or anything at the moment. Obviously proof's going to be in the pudding when we come to do a test print. That will be a follow-up video, guys. So that is it for me for now for this one. Hope you're all well, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheerio!